What is going on, everybody? It's your boy Blank Online, here today to chat with you more about some Call of Duty Black Ops Cold War and how Call of Duty can get rid of skill-based matchmaking. Now, this is one of the many ways that I've seen people discuss, and it's coming from my comment section. Now, this is coming from a user that goes by the name of Ricardo Alcala. I'm sorry if I absolutely butchered your name, but basically they said this. They need a newcomer playlist where if you are under rank like 30, you play against new players as well, and that would give the people that are bad or learning their own lobbies that aren't available for the tryhards and the people that smurf or are really good at a low level. They would level up so fast that they would be outranked to play there. This is interesting. Now, a newcomer playlist is nothing new, and also I just want to say thank you, Ricardo, for the comment, and thank you for allowing me to use it as a video idea here. Now, newcomer playlists are not new in first-person shooters. There, I think in Rainbow Six, there's a newcomer playlist there, where if you're not up to a certain level, then you basically just play people who are newcomers or like new people to the game. Same thing in CSGO, you need to play a couple placement matches until you get your actual rank. So you're basically just playing like unranked games until you play enough to where you get some sort of rank, and then now you're in that rank and that sort of stuff. I think it's in Overwatch as well. Overwatch also has this some sort of idea of like a newcomer playlist as well, and I'm pretty sure like Call of Duty used to have it as well. I don't remember which Call of Duty did it, but I think it's one of I don't know which COD it was, but one Call of Duty game definitely did it. We also had combat training. So combat training, the original idea of combat training was so that people can go into combat training, play with the weapons that they would do, play on the maps that they would do, and just play with bots so that they can get somewhat used to playing the game. If they're new players or if they're not that good at the game, they can sort of practice in training, combat training. And then same goes with this newcomer players, like players who are under a certain level cap, who are new to the game, so can sort of jump on here and play the game. Now, this whole idea of having a playlist for new players is not something new and not a new suggestion here in terms of the battle against skill-based matchmaking, but it's definitely something that I think could work. I think that newcomer playlist, it works in Rainbow Six, it works in CS, it works in Overwatch. Why can't it work with Call of Duty? And Overwatch is under the same Activision umbrella as Call of Duty, so I don't understand why skill-based matchmaking has to be such a big factor here in COD, as opposed to say a game like Overwatch. But I mean it is what it is, and I think that this whole newcomer playlist idea could be really good for the franchise. Now, there are some things that we need to sort of play devil's advocate on. There's nothing stopping a pro player or a hardcore player, a really sweaty dude, from just making a new account and jumping into this theoretical newcomer playlist. There's nothing stopping that, and I don't think there's any way to stop it. If it's going to be based on levels like Ricardo is suggesting, then there's really no way to stop it. But I mean, it's better than what we have now, essentially. If we can have this newcomer playlist, and in this newcomer playlist we could have all of the new casual players who are just starting to learn the game in there, and then everyone else can just go about their time in the normal playlist, that would be so much better. Because I think the thing you gotta understand with skill-based matchmaking is that it holds people to a certain skill level. Players who are not that good at the game, or players who are new to the game, will not progress because they're just going to continue to play players who are exactly the same skill as them. And if they're not good at the game, they're just going to play people who aren't good at the game either, so there's no way for them to learn from their mistakes. Back in the day when it was like Modern Warfare 2, Black Ops 1, the original Black Ops 1, Black Ops 2, like back in the golden age of Call of Duty, not only did you play people of the same skill level as you, it was a mix. And I think people get the misconception that players who are people who are against skill-based matchmaking just want to play players who are not as good as them so that they can pub stomp. That is not necessarily the case. The thing is that people want a mix of good players, a mix of average players, a mix of bad players, whereas so that every single lobby is not an absolute sweatfest. It feels like every game is a CDL game. Having a mix of players so that the bad players can do well against the other bad players, or the average players can do well against the bad players and the average players, and then the good players, the people who are genuinely good at Call of Duty, aren't punished for being good at Call of Duty, because skill-based matchmaking as a system now punishes good players for being good at the game, which doesn't make sense at all. And if we were to have this newcomer playlist, honestly, I think that would be a really, really good idea. Obviously, we'd have to make some sort of adjustments to make sure that players who are actually good at the game don't just come into this newcomer playlist either. I think that if this newcomer playlist were to have any tweaks to it. Personally, for me, I'd like to see some sort of CSGO system. If skill-based matchmaking is not going to go away, then what if we have some sort of CSGO sort of ranking system, I guess, to where you play a couple of games of placement until you get your actual rank, and then once you get your actual rank, you're going to play players who are that same rank as you. It's the same sort of idea of league play, but honestly, with skill-based matchmaking, if you just have some sort of indicator of your skill level, I think that won't fix the problem. That'll make the problem a little bit more tolerable, because you can actually see your skill level and there's actually something to grind for. If you're, say for example, if you look at it in CSGO terms and then like relate it to Call of Duty, if you're an average player, say, I don't know, maybe you're like a silver master or whatever it's called in CSGO, and then if you're an above average player, you're like in gold and you can be world class, or I don't know what the ranks are called in CSGO, but like just having some sort of indicator of your skill level and have something to grind for. If you're like silver 1 and you realize that silver 1 is the worst rank in the game, and you realize that you're the worst rank in the game, shouldn't that then drive you to become better at the game? It's going to be just a continuous cycle, because there's always going to be new players coming in, so players are always going to have to do their placement matches or join the newcomer playlist and that sort of stuff, and then eventually once they learn the game and once they get good enough at the game, bang, they can go over and play the normal game like everyone else can. As I said, it's been in Call of Duty before, it's been in first person shooter games before. Why can't it be fully integrated into Call of Duty instead of having the skill-based matchmaking system that we have right now? I think that it's hard, right? And Ricardo says that the newcomer playlist won't be available for tryhards and smurfs, but that will be really hard to do, most likely because it's the levels that the newcomer playlist sort of gauges your skill level on, rather than your actual skill level. I think if we changed it to be a newcomer playlist, and you can only access the newcomer playlist if your skill-based matchmaking rank is silver 3 and below, like if that's the system that they go with, if they do like that would make a whole lot of sense, so that people who are of a certain skill level can only access that playlist. I think that's the way to go moving forward. But I do genuinely believe that some sort of newcomer playlist, or some sort of way to keep all the new and casual players, or people who aren't as good as the game, together, keeping the sweats out, keeping the people who are actually somewhat decent at the game out, so that those new players have a place for them to learn, have a place for them to get used to the game and all that sort of stuff. And then when they're ready to jump into the real playlist and the normal casual playlist, they can do so having some sort of knowledge on how to play the game, and having some sort of ability in playing the game as well. So we don't need to have this skill-based matchmaking system that completely punishes players who are somewhat decent at Call of Duty. But that's all I have for you guys today. Once again, I want to thank you, Ricardo, so much for the video idea and for the suggestion, and for allowing me to use this idea as a video. Is a really good one. And if you guys have any ideas in the comment section down below, I'd be happy to read them. I literally read every single comment. I respond to every single comment as well. So if you guys have any suggestions on videos in the comment section down below, let me know, all of that sort of stuff. Leave a like if you enjoyed this video as well, and click subscribe if you're new here. We got, I think literally we've gotten like maybe like 90 subscribers in the past day, so the growth here has been absolutely incredible. And if you guys are new to the channel, hello and welcome. Thank you so much for joining us here. We pump out videos, we pump out content, we do what we do. So if you guys stay and stick around for the ride, and if you haven't done so yet, make sure you follow me on Twitch, twitch.tv/blankonline. I stream pretty much every day, so if you want to go there, have some vibes, feel free to do so. I'll see you guys in my next video. Peace out.
Down, lost my friends, well I got more L's. By myself in a brand new bounce. Hardly recognize myself in these brand new lamps, brand new pants, bigger pockets, brand new bands. On my neck, these diamonds dance. When I'm shopping, wear a vest and wear no vest.